So in this video I want to cover how I changed the battery on my Dell XPS 15 laptop. I've had this laptop I believe from 2016, so it's a pretty old laptop. I'm just hoping that maybe this video might help somebody like in the future who has a perfectly functional Dell laptop like this one, which looks pretty darn modern by today's standard, even by today's standards. If you recently subscribed to this channel and you're wondering why am I talking about fixing a laptop or changing the battery of a laptop, in this channel I like to cover anything tech related that happens to me in my life. So it's not necessarily always going to be about home theater stuff and that stuff, even though it is my bread and butter, it is what I cover the most. And one of my most popular videos is me repairing an old receiver. Another one is like when I changed, put the SSD in like an old Xbox that I have, and I still have it. So sometimes I do videos like these. But anyway, let's just launch into the video of me changing the battery on my old 2016 laptop. So this is my Dell. I've had this computer maybe, God, it's sort of ancient at this point, but it still works well because this has a 6th gen Intel, I think it's a Skylake, so I think it's in 6300 HQ or something. I can't remember the exact name. So this is formerly known as like the XPS 15 9550, I believe. That's like the code name of it, and it's been fun. I mean, it's been fantastic. It still looks semi-modern because it's when I bought it, I was really way ahead of its time. I feel that laptops haven't really evolved too much more than this one. But to change the battery, again, I haven't done a video like this in a while, but to change the battery, you're going to need a toolkit. Like I bought this one on Amazon like years ago. I don't even know if they make it anymore, but it has a bunch of different. I've opened this laptop before. I upgraded the RAM. I upgraded the SSD in it to like an NVMe one. But I was able to open it with this. I haven't opened it in quite a while, but again, you're going to need to flip it over, and you're going to have to remove all these screws around the perimeter, and let me figure out exactly which ones they are. And that is the bit that you need. It's sort of like a star-shaped one. Try to focus on down there, and I think it's the T5, I believe. Again, I just kind of like tried a bunch of different ones, but I believe it's the T5. Let's see if we can focus on the wording there. And let's get this guy open. So you're just going to go around and unscrew these little screws here and just make sure you don't lose them. I put the computer, I just laid an old t-shirt down so I don't scratch the top of it. Even though this computer's kind of old and almost worthless at this point, it still works okay for me. I don't need to do any editing or anything on this thing. I actually tried to edit a video of mine on here once, and I barely got it done. It was painful. The exporting was like so slow. Because even though this does have, I believe it's a 9060 GPU in it, but it's still kind of, it was chugging. It took forever. Don't forget the hidden screws. Yeah, I almost forgot about that. And they're the same size at least, so you don't need to get a different bit. This screw was a little stripped, so I had to get in there with a little more torque and just sort of, but there, it comes right off. There's the lid. So we're gonna remove this battery, and hopefully this fits, because I know that this battery is on the smaller side. It's smaller than, so I may have to remove this drive cage, which I'm not using because I put this is a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. The cool thing about it, I guess it is nice to have the option to have another SSD. This video might be moot if I can't figure out how to remove this. So I'm going to start by removing the drive tray, which are actually, let me see what kind of screw you need. Maybe a Phillips. It is a smaller Phillips, so let's grab a Phillips screwdriver. Maybe see if this one works. Remove these drive cage screws. You know, and I probably won't get a lot of views with this video because it's sort of not something I talk about very often, but even if I help out one person, I think it's worth it. I don't really post these very often. So there's the drive cage out, and I guess you just remove these little plastics. You might want to keep that. And I don't know, there's a little, this is the SATA connector. So I think it's the same screws for the battery. I think they're like here, 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 here. And I don't see any, I think these are already undone. I think it's also Phillips. Yeah. They look like the same ones that we're holding in the drive cage. So just remove all these screws here. Okay, so I removed all the screws. So there was one here, 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 and these two were already undone for some reason. So I'm gonna go ahead and as you can see, the battery's loose. So all you gotta do is, I guess you disconnect this this connector here, and I think you just pull. There. So there you go, the battery's out. So now I gotta see about the SATA connector here, which your computer may not have, especially if you already had a bigger battery, but my battery was only a 56 watt hour, and I'm putting in a 96, so it should cover this entire area, which will also impact the weight of the. But you know, to be honest, I'm okay with that. I don't really use this for. It's a big laptop anywhere. I don't really take it much of anywhere. Now would be a good time to maybe clean up this dust here. Since you got it open, there's a bit of, I can see there's definitely some dust accumulation, so I'll do that. So the SATA connector just popped right off. It's super easy. If I wanted to pre-plug it in again, I would just pop it right back in, just pop it in again. I never used it, so I'm not really missing anything. So now it looks like I have all the room I need to put the new battery in. And this is the battery that I got. I got it from Amazon. I believe it was about 50 or 60 bucks, so not terribly expensive. So let's see. We'll do a quick comparison. Hopefully this is the right one. I haven't even opened this thing yet, and it looks like it is. I really hope this works. So it looks like the same connector. So it's definitely M2X4, and I can see the same code down here, M2X4. So it looks right. So let's see if it even fits at all. Oh my god, it's like a glove. Fits nicely. So I'm gonna go ahead and I guess you reuse some of the drive cage screws that I took off, and fits really nicely. So let me go ahead and plug it in, and now would probably be a good time to do that. I sort of grounded myself as best as I could before I started all this work, but again, this is an old computer, and if I did damage it, it wouldn't be the end of the world. To honestly be an excuse for me to buy a new one, but I really kind of like this thing. It's lasted me so long and it's working so well that I don't see an issue. I don't want to replace it if I don't need to. I have like a pretty beefy rig that I use, like a desktop, for my like more strenuous kind of workloads. So it looks like it's in pretty good. I don't think I can get any. So I'm going to try to like dust this stuff real quick. Alright, so I'm going to start putting these black screws in for the new battery. I believe it's plugged in well enough. As you can see, last time I opened this thing up, I upgraded. I added 30. I went from, I added an additional 24 gigs of RAM. So I had the 8 and I went up to 32. I think that probably helped a lot. What kept it a little snappier, and also the NVMe drive. So again, I'm just going to put all these screws back where they were. As you can see, 97 watt hours, so it's definitely an upgrade. And mine was like barely lasting 45 minutes on a good day. And I was actually getting notifications from Windows saying that, you know, your battery's not good anymore, man. You got to do something about it. So here I am, doing something about it. But anyway, I'm gonna just go ahead and put all these screws back, and then we'll get the cover back on and fire it up and see if it works. I don't even think it snaps in, but I'll start with these middle screws. I have to change the bit out on my screwdriver. Okay. And I'm basically going to do what I did in reverse, so I won't bore you with that. You know, before I actually boot this thing up, I'm going to just try turning it on and see if it does anything. Turned on. Might be extremely low charge though. Let's see. It's definitely doing something. I mean, that's a good sign, because it's not plugged in right now, and so I must have done something right. So the computer's working good. which is awesome. I hope that helped you out. Pretty easy. But anyway, if you have any questions about this process, battery changing process, feel free to leave them in the comments. Really helps a lot if you can like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.